chill.
Hello Marvel Legends and welcome to another edition of Displaying Model Behavior, and we are doing probably the most requested team building segment that I've had. It is the Jim Lee X-Men. You've probably seen the preview that I posted earlier, just a little music compilation there. How epic was that? Oh my god, that score was amazing. Go check out the creator, the link's in the description of that video. But now we've got the whole review talk through of the team. So before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to my patrons. I never do like Patreon shout outs, well I'm changing that now. So first of all, Millie, you are as beautiful as you are creative. BJ, you're the best damn friend a guy could ever ask for. And Zach, I don't know you personally, so I'm sure you're a good guy because you give me £3 a month and that's good enough for me. Pretty much anyone can give me £3 a month, then I'd go to bat for them. You know, I'd take a bullet for them. So yeah, you guys are the real ones. All right, let's do this. So the first figure, of course, like how could you have anyone else leading up the team besides Charles Xavier, the man who's died more times than Kenny from South Park. Seriously, how many times has Chuck bitten the big one? But this is a great example of 90s Charles Xavier. So, gosh, I just realized how incredibly dusty all my figures are. Oh god, that looks so terrible. It's like, please don't tell anyone I live like this. It's just, these are a lot of figures to dust. Give me a break, all right? Just back off. Jeez. I wouldn't get this from Millie, you know. Anyway, this is Charles Xavier. This is a great figure, but it's not that exciting because, you know, like, you can't really sort of do much with it besides this. But what do you expect? You know, he's in his hover chair, his wonderful 90s hover chair. I think, was this Shi'ar technology? I'm guessing it was. And they were quite clever with the stand, giving the sort of the whoosh kind of effects to have it hovering above the ground. I think MODOK is doing a similar one. So it's this kind of like spooter he's got on the bottom, giving him that effect. It's quite odd. But the figure itself, first of all, the actual Xavier, this green suited body, so many uses. The problem is though, if you use this for someone else, then you don't have Xavier, so you're kind of missing the point. So I've used this for some displays with Norman Osborn with the head on here, which looks fantastic. But of course, I'll always go back to just having Chuck on here. But the rest of the figure, you've got, check out the sliding panels. The sliding panel is a great little touch. He's got the little swiggly ball, which I'm guessing is his like directional thing to move it around. That's one thing you always saw in the cartoons. He was always just like, hello, my X-Men. But it's like, you're not doing anything. The chair's, it's not a magic chair. All right, pal? How are you making it work? Now we have the answer. He's got the swivelly ball to do that. And then on the other side as well, it's a little more bang for your buck. This is technically one of the Riders series, I think. So instead of a motorbike or something, he's got his chair. And here you've got like a little control panel. So that's kind of fun too. So I dig that. And then I like his two fingers to the head. Or he could be like, hey, good job, Professor. No problem, Gene. Do, 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 do. I don't think Charles is cool enough to do that. But yeah, and he's even, I love you can't really see very well, but he's even got his little blanket. He's got his little blanket over his legs. That's just cute. I love that. And I'm not a big fan of sort of Xavier in the comics at the moment because he's just kind of a elitist, kind of, I'm Professor Xavier. I'm better than everyone. Oh, shoot me in the head. Oh, I'm fine now. I'm back to life. It's like, I don't really like you anymore. But this is the Patrick Stewart Xavier, and he's cool. So of course he's got to go straight into the center of the display. And who else could you possibly have follow up Xavier than his second in command, Scott Summers? Again, the jacket, such a great version of the figure. I wish I had the single release non-jacketed version because I like to have the options. Because there are so many different versions of the X-Men at this point that I've almost got like a double team. But I would have be one step closer to the double team if I had the jacketless version. But c'est la vie. This is still a lot of fun. Again, I didn't realize until I rewatched the animated show how often he appears in this jacket. So it actually fits really well. And the jacket itself is a great fit. I can never get jackets that fit. My arms are too long. So if it fits the body, the arms will be too short. It's a real problem. Same with buying suits. I gotta get like tailored suits. It kind of sucks. Gotta get tailored underwear too, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the big ass. So this is a fun figure, and like he's got the little X symbol on there. That's really cool. a different head. This is from the 3-pack. So he does have the non-visor, just sunglasses head. So that's a fun change to be able to make as well. And similar to Professor X, he's got the two fingers there, which you ideally want it just touching the side of his visor, but very often, once you've posed him, the hands will kind of like just slowly drift away. But when you're just holding him like that, that looks great. Speaking of drifting, unfortunately, his bands around his thighs, the thigh ones aren't too bad, but the ones around his calves, they will sometimes go into business for themselves, as you can see. So I'm sure some people have probably glued them in place, but I don't like altering figures at all, just because I'm not a customizer, I don't have those kinds of skills, so I'd rather just like not touch anything. But still, once you reposition those, they look absolutely fine. And yeah, really great, really solid figure, just straight out of the cartoon. And I'm looking forward to getting the new Hoxpox one with the optic blast coming out as well. That's gonna look cool. And if you've got Cyclops, you have got to have Jean Grey right behind him, the other 3-pack member. This one was a long time in coming. Again, Hasbro being very sneaky, because let's face it, most people, not everyone, because I actually needed all 3 members in that 3-pack. That worked out really well for me. But most people already had a Cyclops. They already had plenty of Wolverines, but they didn't have Jean Grey, and Hasbro knew that. So they were like, hey, should we release a Jean Grey? Yeah, of course, she's well overdue. And someone was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why charge $20 when we can charge 60? And that's what they did. So I think a lot of people paid $60 just to get Jean Grey. I was just lucky in that instance where, I did need all of them. But hey, I bought Black Costume Spider-Man twice because I wanted him in the Kraven 2-pack. So, I've taken my lumps as well. This is a figure that I'm kind of torn on a little bit. She looks great. Initially, the costume is perfect. You got the nice golden accents on there as well. I don't mind her sort of funny shaped fingers, because she is doing telekinetic sort of things. So that's kind of cool. Very, very Scarlet Witch in the MCU kind of movements. Her face, though, I'm just not 100% sure on. It's okay, but she's kind of looking up a bit, and it just looks a bit. It's fine. It's more expressive than some faces. So, I always complain about the faces not being expressive enough. So this is a step in the right direction, but I'm just not, I don't love it. But she also has the ponytail hair as well. That looks really cool. I think I just go for the hair down, because there's just more going on there and it's more interesting to look at. Now, one of my favorite characters, but a figure that I'm really torn on, and we have Warren Worthington III, Archangel. Why do I love this figure and kind of not as well? It's because of the head sculpt. He has so many head sculpt, which is a wonderful thing. He's got this regular head, he's got the smiling head, like the evil smile head. He's got the gold face, Horseman of Apocalypse, and he has the regular head with his hood over the top. And none of them quite fit the X-Men aesthetic that I want. So I want him in the team, but I want him as just regular sort of not Horseman, Warren Worthington. Blue skin's cool. I grew up with blue skin, 90s Archangel, but this sort of neutral face is a bit too neutral. He just looks a bit bored, there's not much going on here. The eyes look a bit dead. So the smiling face is great. The smiling face is very expressive, but it's too evil. It's too Horseman of Apocalypse. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn by this. This is the closest to a neutral, just part of the team type look, but it's just a bit too plain Jane. But I'll take it. I'll take it. The rest of the figure, just look at these wings. That's just stunningly beautiful. They're huge. And that's such a great thing. I mean, this was sold as a deluxe figure, but rightly so. These wings are massive, but they look great. I love the double, the double little wings on the back. I'm sure there's some aviator type term for that, but it's just the double wings. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful in that regard. Some other hands would be quite nice. Maybe like an open palm soaring type hand would have been good. Also, this costume design is cool. The Horseman of Apocalypse design, no complaints with that. But I would really like the blue, the sky blue with the white line and the little angel halo on the chest. That's my Warren Worthington design, so I would love to see that, but still, no complaints really. Besides, I would just like a more expressive face. So a couple of complaints, but still, really great figure. Psylocke, Betsy Braddock. I think this was the last figure I got to complete my collection. Finally, she was the last missing piece, and what a great missing piece she is. This really is just a fantastic figure. The thing I like most about it, I think, has to be the face sculpt. It's got an intense look where, you know, it's so easy to have a dead sort of expression because she's looking very stoic and serious, but that fits, that works with her, and there's almost like a little glint in the eye that just looks kind of like, I'm badass and I'm kind of gonna mess you up. Look, I can do that look too. See, y'all don't want to mess with this. So that's great. Plus the beautiful, bright, colorful, translucent accessories. Oh, love translucent accessories. She also has another one that fits over her face, like a butterfly psychic kind of effect, but I don't use that because I feel it's a bit too much. Too much pizzazz, too much path, too much bazonga. Don't need it. But this is perfect. She's got her sonic blade, she's got the sonic katana, and just everything about it is just great. It's a great figure. Really, Dave? You like the figure of the big-titted Asian lady? That's surprising. I know, right? Go figure. But yeah, it's cool. And there's the other version as well, which has the blue hair and blue costume, I think, because this is purple hair and purple costume. And kind of annoyingly, the perfect Psylocke, in my idea, would be purple costume with blue hair. Actually, it's blue costume with purple hair, but you knew that was what I meant. It's like, well, I'm not going to buy two Psylockes, even though a part of me is like, I could. But no, this is great. I think I've always been a fan of Psylocke because the first appearance I think I saw of her was in Uncanny X-Men when Sabretooth was escaping from the X-Mansion and he just like had she threw down with him. He kind of really messed her up. But I love an underdog. I love not the biggest dog in the fight, but the dog with the biggest fight in them. I always mess up that expression, but you know what I mean. I like someone who fights a good fight even if they don't win. So I immediately cottoned on to Psylocke. I was like, this is a cool character. So yeah, she's a great staple member. Now a figure I love to hate or hate to love or something like that. It's Bobby Drake, Iceman. Why is he in this crouching pose? Because he is fumbly, gumbly all over the place. Whatever they used to make this beautiful translucent body, oh bejesus b'Mary b'Joseph, it was not designed to have action figures made out of this material. He's so gummy and fumbly. His ankles are hanging on by a thread. I don't want to do anything to break them, but if you stand him up on two legs, he will just do the splits and fall over. He's just not designed to hold his position, but he does look cool in that sort of crouching kind of stance, especially when you have the retro Iceman ice effect there. That looks awesome. So again, love this figure. Also, I like, there's kind of like two versions of Iceman. There's smooth ice cube Iceman, and there's like chiseled out of an iceberg Iceman, and this is the latter, and it looks so cool to have the frosted tips, just like I had in the early 2000s, as everyone did. Frosted tips on the hair, the back spikes. He's got on his hands have kind of like icicle type, ridges coming off them. The same with the feet as well. It's such a pretty cool figure. And it's quite underrated as well. I don't think he gets much love, but also that's because he is so problematic with the material that he's made out of. But still, when you pose him right and he holds that pose, mwah, chef's kiss. Great figure. Now the third member of the Love Triangle 3-pack, it is Wolverine, the absolute X-Men staple. You got an X-Men team, you gotta have the old knucklehead. And this is a bit of a kit-bashed version, actually. I need to harken back to what did I use for this figure? Even though I have the 3-pack Logan, this isn't him. I have him displayed with his bone claws and messed up mask. This is the Incredible Hulk. That's what it is. It's the Incredible Hulk Wolverine origin costume. Because you can tell because the blue is more of a baby blue as opposed to the metallic kind of blue. And this head actually is from the retro, or not the retro, but the carded brown costume release. And then he's got his, I love the retracted hoods. I think that looks really, really cool. I love it when they do that with figures. But yeah, this is a really fun little kit bash here. The face, I think, is the best unmasked full Logan face. The one that came in the 3-pack is a little bit too smarmy looking. He's a little bit like, I'm gonna steal your girl, bub. It's like, don't be a dick, Logan. But this one is like, he just looks kind of gruff, kind of badass. I really like that, but not like he's trying too hard to be a badass. He's just like, that's Logan. And that's really cool. So yeah, I dig this figure. I dig him the most. He goes straight into the collection. Of course, because it's an X-Men team, it's got Logan. Now a surprisingly rare figure. We have Jubilee, Jubilation Lee. Just from what I hear, she's difficult for folks to get hold of. And speaking of difficult, you see what's going on here? Oh, well, the glasses are gone forever now. That was going to be my big gripe. I'm literally going to pause this while I go and find the glasses for the 10 millionth time. Whew, okay, I got the glasses, and that's the biggest problem with this figure. And of course, you could always just glue them onto the side of her head, but I don't want to do anything to detract from the mintness of the figure. Of course, she'll be pretty damn detracted if I lose them, but I just gotta make sure that I don't. But yeah, the glasses fall off quite a lot, but I really, really dig this figure. I know I say that about all the figures, but my sort of grading scale is like, the worst is, I dig this figure, and it goes up from there, I think. But yeah, look at the amount of details that has gone into this for a fairly minor character is really impressive. I love the paint work with the little X symbol. Is it an X symbol? I can't even see. My eyesight is terrible. It's not an X symbol. What is the symbol? All right, guys, help me out. What's the symbol on her chest? It's not an X. Or if it is an X, it doesn't look like it to my eyes. But yeah, the fact that she has two heads, one of which has this bubblegum, that's terrific. I mean, why would you even have the non-bubblegum head? This is just so much fun to have. Although it is good that if you do lose one of the glasses, you've got another head with glasses, so that kind of helps as a backup. It'd be nice if she had some sparkly effects to go on her hands, because that's the whole point of her powers, are the pretty sparkle effects. But no. But then again, we get two heads, so I'll allow it. But yeah, Jubilee is just a really bright, colorful character and a complete staple of the 90s cartoon. Whether you loved her or hated her, I remember she was kind of annoying, but not as bad. It was like every 80s and 90s cartoon had to have the kid sidekick, and most of them were awful. Jubilee was probably like at the top of those, with the bottom being like Snarf from Thundercats. You know, at least she wasn't running around going, "Oh, Cyclops, snarf, snarf." That would have driven me crazy, but hey, 80s was a tough time to grow up. All right, the big chrome Russian man is Colossus. I paused there because I almost said Cyclops, because my brain was like, well, it's a mutant with a C name. Of course it's Cyclops. No, Dave, it's Colossus, Peter Rasputin. What a beautiful, beautiful figure. Just look at this. Released in the Juggernaut 2-pack, because they're so nice. So nice of Hasbro to give everyone the chance to buy Juggernaut for a second time. Sneaky little devils. Again, luckily for me, I didn't have the Build-A-Figure Juggernaut, so I needed both figures in that pack. But I mean, come on, let's be honest. We would have bought Colossus. I was going to say Cyclops again. We would have bought Colossus for that price on his own, because he's just beautiful, so stunning. His original kind of I think giant size X-Men design, I'm not sure what differentiates this design from the more sort of Jim Lee era. I think maybe like his knee pads are a bit different or something, or maybe was that a Mandela effect thing? Maybe I just imagined it. Maybe this is the Jim Lee design. Either way, he fits in seamlessly, so it's neither here nor there. He only has other fists. There's no other head or anything, but again, you don't need a particularly expressive Colossus head. Like, this is fine. He's a stoic Rusky, so that's all it needs to be. But yeah, just the muscle detail and definition, and the way the suit is kind of like stretched across the chrome muscles. It's just so cool. Really awesome figure. I love this. Kurt Wagner, the amazing Nightcrawler. I can't do a German accent, but neither could the guy on the cartoon, so technically that was accurate. This is a figure that I always kind of overlook because I only got him to be a completist. I was like, well, I got to get Nightcrawler. He's like part of the Jubilee team and whatnot. But then you get him and you're like, this figure's really good. Like, it really is. First of all, you got 2 extra heads. That's if 1 extra head is good, then 2 extra heads is really good. Yeah, words are hard. But this is the most kind of like basic sort of head. This is the sort of neutral. See, that's what I love about Nightcrawler. He's such an upbeat personality that even the neutral head still has a bit of a cheeky smile. Actually, our smiles are very similar. I got little vampire teeth too. But yeah, then you've got this head. You got the angrier kind of head with the darker black on the front. That's really cool as well. And then you have the third head, which is one I'm forgetting. Or is there 3 heads? I'm sure there are 3 heads. Tell me what the third head is, or am I making another Mandela effect mistake again? It's so funny that people say the Mandela effect now like it's a thing. That's not a thing. It's just people making mistakes. But now they're like, oh, it's called the Mandela effect. No, you were just wrong. Deal with it. No, I'm going to invent a thing, so I have an excuse for not being wrong, but not being correct. Shut up. Get out of here. Anyway, I might edit that round. But yeah, such a fun figure. He's got his sword because he's a swashbuckler. He's the swashbuckling Nightcrawler. I love the fact that they came up with the character like, well, he's going to be blue, he's going to teleport, he's going to be look like a demon, and he's going to have a tail. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. And he's going to have a sword as well. What? Okay. There's a bit of a pitch meeting there. So how will he get from place to place? Will he have to walk? Actually, it'll be super easy, barely an inconvenience. So yeah, he bamfs his way into the display and looks awesome doing it. Winds and rain, come to my command. The goddess of wind compels thee. I hated Storm in the cartoon. I mean, look, the character was fine, but just like, why are you? You're not a witch or a god. Like, why are you talking like this? Power of the wind, blow my enemies. Everyone be like, Storm, just relax, just use. No one else. You don't hear Cyclops going, blasts that are optic, strike my enemy. No, it's just use your powers. You don't have to announce it in this grandiose way, which is a shame because Storm's not like that. But for some reason, the cartoon was like, no, Storm is definitely like this. It's just kind of annoying, which is a shame because her figure is really cool. Straight 100% 90s Storm. Boom. White costume Storm is 90s Storm. There wasn't much else that sort of came with this figure. She has the lightning effects, which I always think look kind of odd. One gripe here, and help me out, like bigger X-Men fans. Storm's mutant ability, all right, is to control the weather. She's not Electro. She can't zap bolts of lightning from her hands, right? So I'm sure that she can manipulate where they come from and where they go, but she can't fire electricity. That's not her power. So what's going on here? Also, is Storm immune to electricity? Like, can she channel electricity? Because this should not be ending well for her. All right, help me out here. I'd be like, Storm, you can't keep away from that plug socket because that's not your mutant power. All right, you're gonna get hurt. But still, on a flight stand, this figure looks great. I'm lamenting the fact that I have ripped. Oh, it's not mint. It's not mint. Yeah, I totally ripped this. I'm just waiting for it to rip completely, but in the meantime, it's hanging on literally, kind of like my sanity is hanging on by a thread, but there we go. Still, it's a pretty character. It's a pretty figure. I got the black costume version as well, which looks mint. I love the black costume one, but we're going for classic Jubilee 90s, so we go for the we go for the white costume Storm. I'm not editing that. Speaking of characters whose voices drove you crazy in the cartoon, oh man, I gotta put my teeth in. No, I'm carrying on. Hi, sugar. What's going on with you swamp rat? Oh gosh, Rogue. I have friends from like Louisiana. That's a similar kind of area that she would be from. No. Gambit's more Louisiana. That's like Bayou. Is Storm like Alabama? I don't know. Either way, I have friends with southern accents and they don't sound like Storm. Like Storm. Wow. Should I start again? Nah. You like this for the gaffs. my friends who are from the same kind of area and places that Rogue is from don't sound like her. You know, she's a bit of a caricature. But in the comics, again, this is where I'm sure that fans of the comics when the cartoon came out were like, oh, it's good, but blah, 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 not like this in the comics. You know, like I am now, but 30 years ago. Jeez, 30 years ago. That's crazy. Anyway, well, it was 25 years ago. No, it was 92. Jeez, it was that long ago. Holy cheese and crackers. Anyway, Rogue here. If you ever want to hear the most annoying sound in the world, watch the episode where it flashes back to how she got her powers, how she stole them from Miss Marvel, and all you hear is Rogue the entire time going, ah, get out of my head. Rah! It's like, oh, geez, that banshee wail. Just turn the TV off. But it is a cool origin story, how she is kind of tormented by the mind of Captain Marvel because she absorbed her mind with her powers. So that's kind of cool. Because Rogue's actual mutant ability is just the power siphoning, which is why like a lot of people were annoyed when the X-Men movies came out. Well, they're annoyed about a lot of things, but one of the things was, why isn't Rogue super strong and flying? And it's like, those aren't her powers, those were Miss Marvel's powers and she stole them from her. So anyway, I digress. This is a bit of a Kit Bash figure as well. This is the Juggernaut Rogue body with the head from the Pyro 2-pack. Another 2-pack where it's like, you're really only selling us one figure here, guys. But at least the other head, I like it just for a change. You know, the original head is cool. It's got the longer flowing hair. So ultimately, like, gun to my head, I might go for the other one. But I just like this to mix things up. I like the ponytail look. It's kind of fun. And with a jacket and everything, like this is a cool Rogue. And hey, look, now that we've got the new carded one out, at least this one's going down in price so people can actually get hold of it now. And now we've got the bouncing blue-eyed Mrs. McCoy's blue-eyed boy. I always get his sort of nicknames mixed up with Ben Grimm's as well. He's like the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and this is Mrs. McCoy's bouncing blue baby boy or whatever. Either way, makes for a good figure. Not a great figure though. A lot of people had this as like their figure of the year when he came out, and I can see why. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here, like great innovation and with the articulation, like the way that he can move and retract his arms and the poses you can get. The fact he can actually stand, you can actually position him upside down, like that's really cool. It's just a shame that he only has the one angry head, and I'm not the first person to say that, but so many people wanted like the more cuddly looking Dr. McCoy from the cartoon with more of sort of like the glasses, maybe the Frasier beast, whereas this is definitely accurate. I mean, this is straight from the cover of issue 1, you know, the rah kind of look. So that's fine. It's accurate, but it would be nice to have a more relaxed kind of pose, because even though Beast can throw down and be a badass, we tend to think of him as more the nice, jovial Hank, and it would be nice to have that face. So, I mean, they kind of rectified that with the grey Beast, the carded grey Beast. I would not be surprised if in a couple of years we get another blue Beast, maybe with a lab coat and a more friendly looking face. The name's Cable. Remember it. That's kind of a cool little catchphrase to have. Although it goes to show that maybe he's worried that people aren't remembering his name because he has to keep telling them to, so it might imply he's a little bit insecure. Don't do it. Don't write in the comments telling me whose catchphrase that actually is. I know it's not Cable's, all right? Dave from yesterday didn't, but Dave now editing this video knows that wasn't Cable's catchphrase, that was someone else's, okay? So I know. So don't bother pointing that out, because I already said that I know, all right? But again, with the digressions, this is actually one of my, you know, I keep saying my grading just goes from, I really like this figure to, you know, that's the baseline. Well, this one, I really like this figure because there's so much going on. We will complain to Hasbro, or not to Hasbro directly, unless there is someone that who can I talk to? But we complain about Hasbro just doing lazy repaints. This ain't a lazy repaint. There is so much going on here. I don't know what the original base body was, or if it's even completely original, but like everything about this it feels unique to Cable, and that's what's so great. Talk about accessories. huge big gun here. He's got a pistol as well here. The gigantic, pure Liefeld gun on his back, which probably weighs about a ton. And just all the accessories, the huge, big, chunky shoulder pads with the bullets along here. Whatever this is, I don't know, was it ever identified as like, what the hell is this around his neck? But most of all, I love the head sculpt, the angry, well, not angry, but determined, grit kind of face with the beautiful telekinetic, light shining from his eye. That just looks stunning. And then he's got this kind of, I don't know what it is, like a communicator or something. It looks like Appleseed, the anime Appleseed, the robot kind of has like a rabbit ear looking sort of thing. It looks just like that, but oh my goodness, there's so much to love about this figure. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll do another one. That's 2 for the episode. Mwah, chef's kiss. Gorgeous figure. So good.
The name is Gambit. Remember it.
Whenever I try to do a Gambit voice, I just end up doing a French voice,
as opposed to an American bayou kind of voice, which is more American with like a little bit. I'm getting better, but then the more I talk, the more it tends to become just a little bit of a French accent. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, that sounds nothing like Gambit. But this looks like Gambit, a lot like Gambit. I mean, this is the retro re-release, and so what do? They brightened up the coat, which was lovely. I can always think of like the old 1980s Kenner Obi-Wan toy. Like it's the same sort of soft plastic that his cape was made out of. But yeah, they brightened up the cards as well, actually putting the design on the cards. Really, really nice. The only thing that bugs me about this figure is that he drops his staff. This hand is look how wide open his hand is. Can I even? Yeah, here we go. Look at how wide open his hand is, and look at the circumference of the staff. That doesn't work. That just falls through every time. So there is that. But besides that, such a pretty figure. Why? Because he's bright and colorful. I love the original with the darker coat, but now we've got that brighter with the brighter blue and the bright. I don't know if the blue and the pink are they brighter? I think they're brighter. And then the head with hair that people prefer. I didn't mind the original hair, but this does look better. So on the whole, and again, you've got like more of the pink down the side as well. Such a 90s design. But it goes to show that some 90s designs, like, they really do stand the test of time. And Gambit's had different looks over the years in the comics, but on the whole, this is still the iconic Gambit design, and rightly so. Now then, a bit of a sort of a B-teamer here. We've got Forge, and I know you don't sort of like think Forge as the core team of X-Men, but I distinctly remember him appearing in X-Men issue 1. So I always think like, okay, Jubilee, X-Men, I will always associate Forge with that group. That's what I loved about that kind of dynamic, was you had the core X-Men team at the mansion, but the mansion was basically like a safe house for all the satellite teams as well. So of course Forge was there. And in the cartoon, he had a bit of a different sort of origin. He was in the future with Bishop, sending Bishop back in time in a way of time travel that makes literally no sense. Because Bishop could go back in time, change things, and then come forward to the future and go like, did it work? It's like, well, if it worked, I wouldn't still be here. Or like, the second I sent you back, it's impossible to come back to... it's time travel that makes your brain hurt at the best of times, but that was just completely bonkers. Like, if he comes forward to the future and Forge is still there, then surely it's Avengers rules, and he's just gone back to his own timeline, and changing the past would have just created an alternate timeline. I've gone cross-eyed. So, and where the hell was Steve Rogers when he was growing up? Because he didn't grow up. Never mind, that's a whole other subject. Forge is a good figure. I love characters that I can have them drawing their gun. Like, it feels like people complain when weapons can't be drawn from their holsters, but then whenever they can be, I tend to just have them in the holster anyway. But then if you have it sort of like half drawn like that, that's kind of a fun sort of action or semi-action kind of pose. So that's really fun. But yeah, Forge is a fun character. There's not a huge amount to him, but he's cool, and he definitely, adds up the numbers very nicely. Now this might be a bit of a stretch for the 90s team, for the Jubilee team, but we have here Sunfire. Now, I just remember when flicking through the first issue of X-Men again, they have some communication, some satellite conversation with Sunfire. Or actually, was that? I think it was. I'm sure it was. I always associate Sunfire with Jubilee X-Men, even though he wasn't a core part of the team. Again, you know, being a former X-Man, he was always part of that kind of like satellite group. So I think he did have some interactions during those early Jubilee issues. I need to go back and read them, but my reading list is getting crazy. But yeah, he again just a pretty figure. Nothing amazing. He's got a nice little head sculpt, but the body is a basic, you know, buck. And you know his fire effects are fine, but we've seen these flame effects a bajillion times. But still, he's a worthy addition, so he goes on the shelf. And finally, rounding out the team, we have the time traveler himself. It is Bishop. And this is a big, chunky figure, and I like my chunky figures. And of all the characters kind of like perfectly represented and taken straight out of the 90s, out of the cartoon, out of the comics, this is a great representation. They nailed it with the face sculpt, the big, what they call a Kentucky waterfall. The Kentucky waterfall coming down the back of his head there. He's got his gun holster as well. The one little gripe I have is this isn't his power effect. I nabbed this from someone else just for the video because, you know, got to make him look pretty. But this hand doesn't fit like under the gun. He can't like hold the gun. His hand's like a trigger sort of thing, so the gun just like sits on top of his fingers. It looks naff, to use a too superly 90s expression. It looks naff. But besides that, if I have him with a power effect, that looks kind of cool actually. Like he's just absorbed some energy and he's gonna fire it back. Well, that's kind of funny that you always associate Bishop with having a gun, but his power is to fire blasts. So it's kind of like, what are you making up for? Like, this is like wearing a hat on a hat. You're already doing the same thing, but there you go. You know, maybe he feels like he has a lot to prove. I also love the detail on the shoulder. He's got his like security force logo there. A really fun figure, great look, and a perfect way to round out the Jubilee team. And folks, that was the highly requested Jubilee team building experience. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoyed like the little short music video version as well. I think next time I'll release the long version first and then the short one. But I figured since I did the quick video, I'd actually take my time and really stretch this one out, because then you get your two flavors of Dave. You got Dave on the go and Dave to settle down with a mug of cocoa and just like enjoy the long form experience and just listen to me prattle on for almost an hour. Jeez Louise. I gotta cut these things down. But anyway, folks, thanks for watching so much. If you enjoyed what you see and you want to see more, then join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior. Chill.